In a panic, he sealed the elemental symbol on the crossbow. Andrew used his fourth-dimensional consciousness to establish a mysterious connection with the crossbow through elemental energy. He pulled the bow string, loaded the arrow, and nervously aimed at the moving red beetles outside the building. During his free time, Andrew had been playing with this high-end, high-precision crossbow that cost him over 3,000 yuan. Although he didn't have much experience, he wasn't a complete novice. Even so, Andrew missed his first shot. Not only did he miss, but he also failed to activate the ice-cold attribute of the ice arrow. He was too nervous. The speed of the 3 red armored beetles was far beyond what humans could compare to. In an instant, they caught up with the crowd. The proud red armored beetles completely ignored Andrew's harmless arrow. As Andrew fumblingly prepared his second arrow, the cries of the crowd had already reached the ground floor. There were about 11-12 people, and about 5 people had already died miserably in the pincers of the 3 red beetles. Among the crowd, the neighbor on the 10th floor trembled with both hands, and couldn't open the security door no matter what. The red armored beetles that came up again pierced through the body of a fat man with its incredibly sharp legs, and then lifted him up, as if playing, and threw him into the air. Andrew had little confidence in hitting moving targets, but was confident in hitting a stationary, huge monster like this one, especially when the distance was within 30 meters. He took a deep breath and locked onto the incredibly arrogant the red armored beetles. Swish! The ice arrow, carrying the cold air of nature, surged forward. The piercing sound of breaking through the air made the red armored beetles glance at Andrew's window, just for a moment. With a distance of 30 meters and the power of elemental energy, this arrow didn't give the red beetle any chance to react. It effortlessly broke through the red beetle's fire defense barrier, and fiercely pierced into its body. The icy aura carried by the arrow body made this red armored beetle scream in pain. Even the other 2 red armored beetles behind, who were sucking human brain fluid, looked up strangely at the screaming red beetle. The frost arrow of the ice attribute quickly released its terrifying power. Even though the fire attribute inside the red beetle resisted desperately, it was still quickly frozen. Is it dead or not? Andrew didn't know the power of the frost arrow. After all, he had never used it before. Seeing the red beetle frozen like an ice sculpture, he couldn't be sure. He quickly prepared the third arrow, and with the experience of the first 2, he was no longer so panicked. The group of people who were almost desperate suddenly saw such a change. The monster that was just like a demon suddenly turned into an ice sculpture by an arrow that appeared out of nowhere, and the immediate threat was resolved. It was like a drowning person seeing a straw, and their hope for survival burst in an instant. A middle-aged man snatched the key from the trembling hand of the man on the 10th floor, calmly opened the door, and more than a dozen people rushed in crazy. Afterwards, they all sat down on the stairs in the corridor, staring blankly at the frozen red armored beetle outside, and the several broken bodies. In the dim light, these people looked at each other in astonishment. After escaping from death, they were all at a loss. The middle-aged man who opened the door was still somewhat calm, and said, "Hurry, go upstairs. There are still 2 outside." Yes, there are experts upstairs. They killed the monsters in an instant. With experts here, we should be safe. Did any of you see which floor they shot from? Who had the courage to look at that time? Did you see? I didn't see. Everyone talked at once, not daring to linger, and quickly climbed upstairs. Andrew was originally prepared to shoot the second red armored beetle. When he was about to pull the trigger, he suddenly noticed that the frozen one was not completely dead. It was trembling and seemed to be breaking free from the ice sculpture. Andrew's mind moved. Absolutely cannot give it a chance to revive. Now, killing one meant one less. Moreover, the other 2 had already started moving. With his ability, it wasn't easy to hit a moving target. Instead of wasting his energy like this, it was better to shoot the frozen red armored beetle with another arrow. The third arrow shot towards the frozen red beetle. The frost arrow directly blasted a hole and exploded. The fierce red beetle was divided into countless small ice blocks. Finally, only remnants remained. The ferociousness of the other 2 red armored beetles was completely provoked by the death of their companion. With an angry roar, one of them threw away the human head it was sucking, directly rushed downstairs, and used its pincers to destroy the door. The other one quickly climbed up the wall towards Andrew on the 6th floor. Have they discovered me? Andrew was not nervous this time. Not only that, he had a sense of determination. Yes, either you die or I die. With the faint light from the vehicles on the street, and the burning flames hit by artillery fire, Andrew saw the 2 angry creatures very clearly through the infrared sight on the crossbow. The 4th arrow shot towards the monster climbing the wall, freezing it in one shot. Andrew originally planned to not rush to kill the red armored beetle that was frozen on the wall with the 5th arrow. Instead, he wanted to quickly freeze the red armored beetle attacking the door, and then take advantage of the time difference, when the red beetle was trying to break free from the ice to shoot and kill the two red armored beetles separately. After loading the fifth arrow, he found that the red armored beetles attacking the door was no longer visible. From Andrew's position, he couldn't see whether the door on the same vertical plane was broken, so he didn't know if the creature had come in or went somewhere else. There was no other choice. Andrew could only completely kill the frozen red beetle in front of him, and then retreat back into the house. Every 2 arrows completely eliminate 1 red armored beetle. If the military knew about this, they would probably have already conscripted it as their main force. Ordinary firearms are really difficult to eliminate these red armored beetles with protective shields. Close the window. Andrew prepares the 6th arrow. He doesn't know where the last one is. He holds the bow and arrow, leans against the wall, and prepares to deal with the appearing red armored beetle at any time. He clearly feels that his internal energy is running low, except for the first arrow that he shot in panic without using internal energy to cooperate with the bow and arrow to shoot the ice arrow. The remaining 4 arrows have consumed a large amount of internal energy. As he calms down, he is horrified to realize that he can only shoot 1 more ice arrow at most before his internal energy is depleted.